Tennessee Tech head coach Dewayne Alexander, they were one of the two teams who did not play last week because they got their originally scheduled first game in. So coming off an off week, they will host Murray State, who is now 2-0 and receiving votes in the polls on Sunday. So, Coach, just a little bit about your team and how you maybe use that weekend of not playing, and then we'll go into some other questions.
The open date came at a really good time for the Golden Eagles. We had played two very physical football games. The Austin P game is very physical. They have a very physical football team on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Very physical, hard-fought game. We go to Jacksonville State on the road. Obviously, anytime you go to Jacksonville State to play, same thing. Very physical football team, very physical game, hard-hitting game. We had a couple guys get some injuries, in that game just from just contact injuries, just guys playing football all out, full speed. Very physical game. We had some opportunities there in the third quarter to certainly it's a 17-7 game, and we've got the ball inside the 10-yard line, actually 5-yard line, 3 times in the third quarter, started the fourth quarter, and only scored 3 points, and really could have gotten some momentum and weren't able to do that. But our guys fought hard, they played hard, and so we're 1-1 after our first 2 games. We played 2 very good teams. We really needed the open date, busing back from Jacksonville State, and we had some guys that were banged up and sore after that game. So we have used the open date week. We did not practice in full pads a single time. Gave the guys a couple days off. Focused on academics. We focused on obviously training room and weight room, conditioning. We did get on the field and have 3 practices in shorts and helmets. Gave them Saturday off. We came back Sunday with a practice, and then we'll have resume our normal week practice this week, for Murray State. So we do have, a lot of guys now back. They feel better. They got their legs back. And I think every coach would tell you that the concern you have of playing, week to week, back to back games, is just the physical holdup of your team and how they're going to hold up. And, our guys have, they've responded well. We've had a really good open week. We have Murray State coming in here this week. No surprise that Dean Hood would get a football program going. He's an outstanding coach, outstanding person, did a tremendous job at Eastern Kentucky when he was there as the head coach. So you watch their teams play. It's obvious Dean Hood coach football teams. They are very good in the special teams. They're very well coached on offense and defense. They're going to be disciplined. You're going to have to beat them. I really like Preston Rice, their quarterback, just a good leader, a team guy. So they've done a tremendous job of going to SEMO. We all know how hard that is to go there and play. What a big win for them to go in there and, to win that football game, and then obviously to win the UT Martin game. So, they're off to a great start, and we certainly will have a challenge as they come in here to Tucker Stadium on Sunday.
Well, before we talk about your team, then, since you referenced Murray there, Dan, about them. You said Dean Hood, the running, that seems to be where they've made the biggest change from 2019 to this year. They're first in the OVC in rushing. So what specifically maybe have you seen they've done well running the ball?
Well, they've got a really good running back, and, their quarterback, he's big and physical. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. He can run the football, a physical offensive lineman. But, too, it's a mindset. Coach Hood's been there. Got there with that program and went through all their fall practices and that type of thing, and said, "Look, man, we're going to run the football. We're going to find a way to run it. Even we're going to get after it. We want to have a physical presence, so we want to be a physical football team, and they are a more physical football team than they've been in years past. There's no doubt about it. And two, it helps you defensively to play more physical. When you're playing physical on the offensive side, that's what you go against in practice every day. It's certainly going to make your defense be more physical against the run as well. So, going in, look, our mindset, we're going to try to establish the line of scrimmage and then play action and throw the football. And they certainly have really good receivers on the outside. They can play action and hit deep balls and try to throw them over your head. And, that's something the way Eastern Kentucky teams always were. From going back to Roy Kidd, I played here at Tennessee Tech in the early mid 80s and coached here in the 90s and early 2000s, and was there when Coach Hood I was an assistant coach here when Dean was the head coach there. And their physical football teams, they were going to run the football. They were going to try to establish a line of scrimmage and then play action. And, and take advantage of some deep balls. And, and that's what I see out of them. And certainly to me is the reason that they're 2-0 right now.
One more on Murray State. They had 3 interceptions, and I believe I was just counting them, 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. What does that present for your defense? And what are you going to try to do to negate, some of those mistakes that they caused SEMO to have?
Well, I mean, they certainly did a good job of getting down in distance against them, especially first down. Offensively for us, we've got to be more consistent on first down. We have not been in the first 2 games. And, whenever you're 2nd and 12 instead of 2nd and 7, defensive coordinators, can be much more aggressive, and anytime you're in 3rd and 12s and 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 8s and, 3rd and long and extra long, it makes it tough. Because defenses can pin their ears back, they can be more aggressive, they can bring more pressures and things of that nature. And they've done a really nice job of getting down in distance on people in the early downs, and then you can be more aggressive in what you do on defense. So for us, I mean, it's been a point of emphasis, always is, but we have got to be more efficient on first down and cut out some of the procedural things we had at Jacksonville State as far as penalties. False starts, key false start, a holding penalty, you pick up 8 yards on first down, then have a holding penalty and it puts you back 1st and 15, and those are just things that, you can't have in any game, but especially a Murray State team. Murray State's no different than any team. They're going to take advantage of it if they get the sticks against you and be aggressive with what they do. They have players that can certainly do that. And, I think both teams in this game, it was a defensive battle, really. I mean, you look at both teams, struggled at times offensively. Both teams threw interceptions for pick sixes, in the game. And, it was just a hard-nosed, hard-fought football game. And but, I think for us to have success against Murray, we're going to have to be offensively, we're going to have to be much better on first down than we've been in our first 2 games.
I'm curious your your thoughts on your receivers, and you've kind of spread the ball out and had a couple different people. We didn't get to talk last week, but Justin Oden was the one who had 4 catches at JSU. But then Demetrius, who we know from last year, he had 3. Kirk Taylor had 3. So what do you think about your receivers specifically through 2 games?
Well, I've been pleased with our receiving group. We dropped a couple of balls in the Jacksonville State game that could have been huge. We dropped a touchdown that would have cut the lead to 24-17. In the start of the 4th quarter there, it was a big drop on a corner route. We dropped another one right over the middle that would have been a huge play. It could have gone for 60, 70 yards, and it was really good protection and good throw. You got to execute all the phases. You got to protect well. You got to run good routes. You got to throw a good football. Then you got to complete the catch, and so we missed a couple, but overall, our receivers have talent. They're inexperienced. Justin Oden didn't play a ton last year. He's a freshman. He played some. He made some big plays, but he was not a consistent starter. He is this year. He has played very well. He made a couple of big-time difficult catches, or really circus catches in the game against Jacksonville State. So I've been very pleased with Justin. Brad Clark was coming off an injury, but I think will be much better this week. He really wasn't 100% in the game, but he played well for us down the stretch last year in 2019, and has had a really good preseason camp. I look for big things out of him. And Demetrius Fleming has really made some nice plays already, which is what we expect of him. And so, I feel good there. We have certainly tight ends. Adam Browner had a nice catch on a screen pass and is a big target for us. When we throw the football to our backs catch the ball well out of the backfield, and we involve our backs in the passing game. So, we have had a history of doing that here, where we're not just going to throw it to one guy. We try to get the football to, spread that around and try to attack all areas of the field with it. So our receiving core is getting better each week, and I look for them they'll need to play well against Murray State on Sunday.
Jamal Thompson had a good game against JSU too, and I know you've talked about him before and just all the stuff he does off the field and just around. But what has he made progress in on defense? And he forced a fumble, he had 11 tackles. I guess just comment generally on his play so far.
Well, Jamal is an outstanding young man, and he is very, very smart. He's a smart young man off the field. He's a 4.0 young man academically, and on the field, he really carries that over there. He's very smart. He's very perceptive. He has good feel for the game. He can anticipate things. He can recognize tendencies. He's really a student of the game, so he knows where to be. He puts himself in, half of defensive football is putting yourself in positions to make plays. You know, you have to be in the right spot to actually make a play, you know, so you can give all the effort you want, you can hustle and all those things, but if you're not in the right spot or right position, you don't have a chance to make plays. And he puts himself in the right position to make a lot of football plays. And he made a couple of big ones in the game. And of course, it gave us the short field twice. If we only got 3 points out of it. Like I said, we had an opportunity to really jump out there in the third quarter and get 2 quick scores. It would have gave us the lead in the football game. And you know, he does a really nice job of just being in the right spot. And he's really, you know, learned our defense and what we're doing. In a very coachable young man, and he's got also good ability as well. So he's done a really nice job filling in for Ty Carter. You know, Ty Carter had been our starter there last year and was a preseason first team all conference pick when we did the summer media days back in the summer of 2020. And we've not had Ty in the first 2 games. So Jamal has had to step up and play more snaps than he normally plays, and he has performed very well.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck on Sunday, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thank you.